Hi everyone, it's Tracy, and in this designer tutorial, I'm going to show you a quick and easy way to change the color of a transparent PNG so that you have the full range of blend modes like you would with any other layer. So I'm using the desktop version here, but the process is exactly the same for the iPad version. I have three artboards here. The first one has this kind of peach colored ellipse that I want to add some texture to. The second is the PNG texture. This is just some texture I created and digitized and then saved as a transparent PNG. And then the final artboard here is just an example of the colors that I'm aiming for. So I'm going to change this texture to this dark orange. And when I overlay it with the peach ellipse and change the blend mode to hard light, I want to be able to get this light orange color. Now I'm just using hard light as an example. The same thing applies to any of the blend modes. So I already have this texture clipped to the ellipse here, but it's black. I want it to be this dark orange color. So I can't use my color studio because this isn't a vector, it's a pixel layer. Well, I could go to the FX studio here and turn on color overlay, and I get that nice dark orange color. Okay, so that's great, that worked. But what if I want to change my blend mode so that I can get that light orange color like I have in the third artboard? Well, if I start scrolling down here, you can see that nothing's happening. Even when I get to hard light, it's staying that dark orange color. So that's not working. Let's go back into the FX Studio, and there is a blend mode here. Now keep in mind, blend modes are a blend of the colors involved. So in this case, it's a blend of the orange and the black. So if I go into the darken modes, it's going to give priority to the black because that's the darker color. If I go into the lighten, it's going to give priority to the orange and give me a variation of that one. And then overlay and soft light and the others don't work at all. So that's not really working for me either. Now I have seen in places where people have said that you can change this to add and close that out and then change your blend mode over here in the layer studio. So let's go ahead and try that. Now remember, I'm aiming for this light orange color when I switch it to hard light. So let's go ahead and start scrolling down, and I'm not seeing anything happening until I get to the lighten modes. I am seeing a nice kind of bright yellow color there. But when I bring it to hard light, it's taking me back to that dark orange. So that's not working for me either. Well, there's an easier way to do this so that I have the full range of blend modes so that they work exactly like it is here. I'm going to go ahead and delete this texture. And the first thing I want to do is create a duplicate of this ellipse. So I'm just going to do a Command J. And I want to change the color of this top ellipse to that dark orange, because that is ultimately going to become my texture. So I'll go ahead and just click this little dot here and change it to the dark orange. And I'm going to drag a copy of my texture over again. Now this time, instead of creating a regular clipping mask where I'm keeping it to the right of the layer, I'm going to create a vector clipping mask. So I'm going to drag this down and drag it over the icon of that darker circle. And then you'll see that vertical line appear right next to the icon, and you can see in the artboard that it actually clipped into place. So I'll go ahead and release. And what this has done is created a mask. So what's happening here is anywhere there's black, the dark orange remains and becomes texture. Anywhere that was transparent disappears, and you'll see the ellipse from beneath come through. So if I turn off that bottom ellipse, you can see that now it's transparent. So I'll turn that back on. Okay, so what about the blend modes? If I change the blend mode of this ellipse to hard light, am I going to get this light orange color? Let's go back up to the blend modes, and I'm going to start scrolling down. And you can see that I'm actually getting the blend modes the way I normally would if I were just putting two vector shapes together, for example. So let's go to hard light here. All right, so I'm getting that nice light orange color like I am over here, which means it worked. So I have the full range of my blend modes like I did here. The other cool thing about this is if I want to change the color of the texture, I can very easily do that simply by changing the color of the ellipse. So I'm going to go ahead and bring this back up to normal so you can see what's happening. And I'm going to go ahead and change this one to normal as well. And we're going to start fresh with a different color and different blend modes. So I'm going to change this ellipse to this blue color here. And I think this time I'll pick a blend mode of linear burn, a color burn. So we'll get this kind of pinkish color. I'm going to do the same thing over here. I'm going to change this to the blue, and I'm going to go into my Layer Studio, and I'm going to change this to Color Burn. And sure enough, I get that pink color. So again, not only do you get the full range of blend modes, but you can very easily adjust the color simply by using the texture as a vector mask for a duplicate of whatever shape you're trying to add the texture to. And that's it. I hope you enjoyed the tutorial and found it useful. If you have any questions about the process, please feel free to ask them below. If you'd like to check out these textures that I've created, they're actually available for free to my newsletter followers, and I've included a link to that in the description below. Thank you so much for stopping by, and I'll see you in the next tutorial.